Thing I want to talk about is how we receive information and how we register information in our brain. Whenever we are looking out into the world at things, we are taking information back in via our senses. In this case, we're using vision, but it could be touch, taste, anything. When information comes into our senses, it needs to first and foremost travel into the spinal cord, and then up into that reptilian part of our brain. As it goes into the reptilian part of our brain, it then moves over into the emotional center of our brain. And remember, the first place that we're always going to be taking information in is going to be the amygdala, or that fear center of the brain. And the reason why information goes here first, approximately 2 times faster than anywhere else, is because our brain has 2 jobs: keep us alive and conserve energy. Now, when information travels here to the amygdala, it's going to ask those questions. Is this going to kill me, or is this going to hurt me? If the answer is no, then the information moves on and out and travels into the neocortex, where we can actually begin to think logically and critically and creatively about whatever it is that we are perceiving or sensing. If the amygdala does determine this is a thing that we need to be worried about, it then goes into this fear loop cycle where we activate our reptilian brain. That's going to be the fight or fear-based responses that we have. So if we see something like 2 people who are getting along and smiling and being great, then that information is going to travel in through our senses, up through the spinal cord, past the reptilian part of our brain, into the amygdala, says, hey, that's a nice thing we see, and then we are going to let that travel and pass forward into the neocortex. Then that will register as a positive memory, okay? Now, if by chance we happen to see that this person is not treating that person kind, and they're shooting them up a bunch of times, and there's blood, and it's a horrible, traumatic incident, then what that's going to do is that's going to go into our senses, travel up through the spinal cord, register in the amygdala as a fearful experience, and then now it's going to begin this fear loop cycle where it's going to come back down here into that basal ganglia, or the primitive part of our brain, and activate a fear response, a fight, flight, freeze, etc. And then that is actually going to register as a negative experience in our brain. So then our brain will take that information and remember, hey, the circumstances surrounding this event was a negative experience that could have hurt or killed us. And so we need to make sure that we have strong neural connections so that we can avoid or react more appropriately next time we see a situation like this developing. So next I want to talk to you all about neural connections and how we develop new memories and skills and pathways within the brain.